Okay, so we are here again with Ian from Lightblue, and yeah, we're going to be talking about nurturing leads, so turning those inquiry leads into paid clients. So thank you, Ian, and take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Debbie. So obviously you want to successfully convert the leads that you're getting into your business. You've worked really hard for those leads and for those inquiries. You've spent money on gaining those leads, or you've spent time and effort getting them. So to be successful in your business, you want to get a good return on that investment. I think there's 4 key factors that are involved in converting leads and inquiries. So there's that initial response time. So how quickly you are responding to that initial inquiry. The follow-up interval, so how often and at what times you are following up. There's a lot in terms of building trust, helps you to successfully convert those leads, and also making the next step for the client as easy and obvious as possible. So I think those are some of the key factors involved in successfully converting leads. Initial response time, I think, is one of the first things to have a look at. So the more promptly your client is getting useful information from you, the more likely it is that they are going to be taking action. Because especially if they are in a position where they're like, shut up and take my money, I'm really keen, but then it takes several days before they hear anything helpful back from you, they might have already gone elsewhere at that point, or they might have cooled down or had a chance to think about other stuff. So yeah, if you can be pretty prompt in terms of giving them something useful. One of the ways that you can do that is if you've got a contact form on your website, then having an automatic email reply the moment that they have submitted that is a very helpful thing to do, but not just making it a thanks for your inquiry. Own the fact that it's an automated response, but provide them with something useful straight away. So for example, it could be providing them with some pricing, or providing them with some guides about your style, or something that they are looking for. Provide them with that straight away in that email. Talk about your style, talk about your approach, talk about your pricing, your packages, if you're, say, for example, a wedding photographer, because you might have had like starting prices on your website, but then actually provide a bit more of a detail for them there. So that gives them instantly some more stuff that they can go away and have a look at. Having some sort of a guide or a brochure of how to get the most out of your sessions, something like that that's really selling what you do and why they should choose you, getting that straight away. You know, if it happens to be that you're unavailable or you can't do that, okay, fair enough, they can find that out later. But if they're keen, it gives them something to go away and digest. The other thing to consider as well is having, once they've filled out that contact form, not just a thanks for getting in touch page or message on the screen, but actually taking them to a page on your site that contains, again, some helpful information, some sample sessions, some case studies, some testimonials, but also having a scheduling calendar on there to allow them to book a consultation call with you.
Perfect.
Or maybe actually going directly to booking a session. If it's a portrait business, there might be reasons why you might not want to do that. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you know, for those people who are keen and want to chat, great, get them booking in and get them talking. Again, if it's something like a wedding photography business where you're then unavailable, you can cancel that call later, but let's think about the best case scenario and deal with that. So yeah, that's one of the things to do. And if you're purchasing leads or data, you know, so that's coming from a third party, or you will maybe doing in-person events and that sort of thing, then sending some sort of contact to them the moment that you've received those details. Say, hey, thanks, I've got your details, thanks for registering. Yeah, let's go. Here's, you know, expect to hear more from me shortly, or here is the information. Just as quickly as you can is a key thing. And then nurturing those leads with follow-up messages. Now, there's something to think about is how often you should follow up and when. Now, there's a really nice thing that's you can look this up, something called spaced retention and the forgetting curve, which are kind of two things that are more geared towards learning and how well you remember something, but also applies to how well your client might remember, you know, from when they met you or made an inquiry with you. Basically, how well someone remembers you is going to drop off really quickly, or how well they remember at least the details about you. So having a follow-up quite soon afterwards just brings that back up to a higher level of awareness. That's going to start to drop off again if they then take no action, but then a few days later having another follow-up just brings it back up again, and it's going to drop off a little bit more slowly that second time in terms of how well they're likely to remember the details about you, like your style, your approach, how they feel about you. So yeah, I mean, having follow-ups a couple of days after you first had that contact, and then maybe a week after, and they're probably tailing off to about 30 days, something like that, for a third follow-up. After that, it might be that's going to go nowhere from there. But that sort of cadence probably works well. I think the thing to bear in mind, that's not set in stone, and obviously it depends very much on the type of work you're doing, but I'd aim for that, certainly for like maybe a portrait inquiry that feels good.
Yeah.
If they haven't booked within a couple of days, a follow-up. If they haven't booked within 5 days, again after that, so 7 days after they first got in touch, follow up with again, then maybe give them 30 days, follow up again, and then knock that off.
So I think something resonates with the clients in a different way. So when those messages are coming through slightly different, and the messaging is maybe hitting a different pain point for them, a reason why they should book, for example, is they need to be seeing more than just one.
Oh,
those intervals are great.
Absolutely, yeah, I entirely agree. And it's the way you get in touch with them as well. You can vary the messaging, which you're absolutely right. It's a very important point there. So not just saying the same thing again and again and again. I mean, obviously you want that core message about what you do, why you do, and the core message of what the next step is for them, what the call to action is, needs to be nice and clear. So whether that's the call to action to book a session, whether it's a call to action to book a consultation call with you, that needs to be nice and clear and obvious. But the other things that you're saying to them, can vary, so it doesn't feel like a stuck record. So it can be things like, first one, thanks very much for getting in touch. Here's how to book the session, and then following up, and it's like, hey, this is a story about Sally who I worked with, and she was nervous about this, and so on. So again, you talked about pain points, and then maybe you've got a different story that you're going to tell. I know you're very good at kind of talking about like elevating the value of what you do and the why, and that's something that you teach brilliantly. And so having that within that messaging is so important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so also then varying the methods by which you're following up. So emails and having email templates, great. Text messaging is also good. So, having text message templates for this sort of stuff, super handy as well. So you can contact people via different channels. Maybe even considering phone calls as well. I think particularly if, obviously some people are nervous about picking up the phone on both sides. But if you let them know that call's coming, it allows you to, ultimately you're wanting to build that rapport and build that relationship. So if you can get them to call you, or you can call them, if you're agreeing on the time or doing that, getting on the phone to help to get your personality across and get that value across.
100%.
So all those things in terms of things to nurture those leads. The other thing that's going to help you to convert those leads well is building trust. You want to build trust with your clients, potential clients, that they know that they are, that they're dealing with the right person, and they feel comfortable and they feel assured. So things to consider are, and you mentioned this already, in terms of pain points and case studies, is including testimonials and case studies in your messaging, so that when there are those testimonials then are addressing specific objections or concerns that your clients might have. So, for example, a family photographer, clients might have a concern about, I'm worried about my kids misbehaving during the session. It's like, well, look, here's a story about that, or here's a story about how we were able to put the newborn at ease because we've got, this space and we spend all day. There's not, you don't have to have the child perfect for 30 minutes, this, tight 30-minute window or something, these sorts of things. If you've got testimonials from your clients, past clients, to help put that at ease. Similarly, wedding clients saying, I'm really camera shy. It's like, if you've got a testimonial from someone saying, we were really camera shy, but, Ian was great and put us at ease. Boom, put that in there. It tells the story. Give examples of when you've been able to deliver that value to your clients. And that helps to build trust. And then having really clear next steps in your communication all these different types of communication that you're having with your clients, having really clear next steps about what your client needs to do. So I think you're looking to do either one of two things when you're nurturing those leads. You're wanting them to directly book their session. So you're wanting them to confirm the booking and say, yes, we are booking you for this wedding, or we are booking you for this portrait session on this date at this time. Or you're wanting to get them as a next step to get onto a consultation call with you. And it's at that point that you're then proceeding through. But you want to make whatever that next step is to be
clear,
really clear, crystal clear. Interested? Sound good? This is what you do.
Yeah.
Here's where you go. Nice big link, So then making these things as easy as possible for the clients and removing the friction are key things. So something that you could consider, especially for clients who are really hot and immediately want to book, is including a scheduling calendar within your website for them to book their session. There's, I think that's going to work for certain types of photography. I think there's obviously going to be other types of photography where it's, where maybe you want that kind of higher average spend and you want it more boutique, where you maybe want to have a bit of a filtration with the clients, and maybe you want to introduce some friction there, and that's absolutely fine. So it might be that you have that scheduling calendar on your website for people who immediately want to book a session. It might be that you have an inquiry form and then there's a scheduling calendar to immediately book the session, so that's there. Or it could be that you have a scheduling calendar for them to book their consultation call. That could be the thing, especially if that initial consultation call is very important to, to you being able to set the expectations with the client. Then, the scheduling calendar is maybe not necessarily booking the session, but is booking the consultation. Obviously, very much depends on the types of work that you're doing there as
definitely.
well. Mini sessions. Obviously straight into a shoot. Maybe for that boutique high value. You're wanting to get them booked into the consultation call. Book your discovery call today, that sort of thing. But again, for those who are really hot and keen, making it really easy for them.
And that's easy to integrate with Lightblue, for example.
Absolutely, I mean, Lightblue's got scheduling calendars. I've got them in my own website.
And for different, you can set them up for different ones, right? For different kinds of shoots. So
absolutely, yeah. So I've got scheduling calendars for different types of photography that I do to book sessions straight away. I've got different scheduling calendars for different types of meetings as well. So I was like, let's book that consultation call. So on my wedding photography website, when someone's made an inquiry, then takes them through straight away to let's book a consultation call as well.
And can you brand those differently as well?
Absolutely.
So that they're okay? Perfect.
Yeah, you can have as many different brands as you like. Which is,
I'm just thinking if it is a multi-genre, photography business, which there's a lot of them out there, it is great to sort of be completely as if that's what they do, and they're really getting,
100%.
on board with that. But perfect.
Yeah. The other thing you can do is we talked about kind of the initial response and the follow-ups that you're doing with your clients, is again including a scheduling calendar link within those messages as well. So as a scheduling request at that point to say, hey, let's book in that meeting for that call. And again, that can be within your email templates, that can be automated and all branded and stuff, so that when I respond to that portrait inquiry, for example, and I want to get them onto a consultation call, my email says, and now let's have a chat, let's discuss your session and things, with a nice big link so that they can take that there. They will then book that call, books a Zoom call with me, and I can then have a call and a chat. Similarly, I do that for my weddings as well. And then I've got other stuff that, instead of that, it's booking the shoot straight away as well. I already mentioned actually, scheduling calendars in your contact form thank you page as well. And in that initial email is like, boom, let's get that meeting booked in. Let's do that. So that if they're keen and really hot and you're asleep or you're out, it's they are moving through, which is
there's different kinds of clients, isn't there? There's ones that are impulsive and want to do it, and they know exactly where they're. Some that need a little bit more nurturing or need to get rid of some of those blocks. So you're with the scheduling of that, initially you're hitting those ones that are impulsive and
Yeah, absolutely. And then I think once you've had that consultation with the client, or they're feeling like a hot lead, and maybe for those ones where maybe you've not had a chance to have that consultation, you can be then sending sending a proposal to the client that outlines, does all the selling for you, that presents, your products and services, allows them to choose the options that they want there as well. So that they can, so I've got one, for example, for my wedding clients. They'll get here. Maybe this is something that they receive after we've had that consultation call, just as a refresher, and then this is the point, this is how you book. But then also for those ones that I've never got to the point of having a consultation call with, it's been a little while, maybe this is the 30-day follow-up, is here's your next steps. From there, let's send that through to you. So maybe they've just been busy, maybe they've not been able to find a time for a call. So, you can do that there as well. And this is putting in the, why choose me, talks about my product services, it's got the social proof, it's got the testimonials, they can choose their core package, they can choose any add-ons. I can sell the value of, for example, albums that I've got within here and the value of print, and they can choose all of that sort of stuff in one nice easy flow. Doesn't feel pushy, doesn't feel hard, it's just nice and gentle for them there as well. All of that is doing the work for you, and can take, it can get them to sign the contract and pay the booking fee, and even pick their session date if you want to, obviously not with a wedding, but for a portrait session, they can pick their session date and stuff there as well, all in one nice easy flow, making that really, really easy. And I think the other thing is you want to make it easy, all of this easy for yourself. So
100%.
So we were talking about those follow-ups, kind of, let's say 2, 7, 30 days. You can automate all of that. You can automate all those follow-ups in what we call a workflow, so that when someone's made an inquiry, it automates that follow-up and gets in touch at the right times. And if they've happened to have booked before then, just cancels all of it so that you don't need to do. And the other thing that's really handy with all of that is then you can have a clear overview of where your different leads are up to as well. So I've got, for example, I can have an overview that says all the people who've got in touch with me right now that I need to make some initial contact with, who's actually got meetings booked in, who have I sent contracts out to, whose contracts still do they need to sign, which contracts have expired because they haven't signed them yet.
Right.
I've maybe gone stale, so maybe I need to send them something else or decide that one's not.
And are these something that you can alter, according to what your stages are?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is entirely custom. I set this up for, there's phases that I like to go through, and the phases that you like to go through, let's say you're a wedding and a portrait photographer, the stages you're going to go through are going to be completely different. Yeah. And similarly, let's say that you also do a lot of register win competitions or something like that, or you have a bulk of leads that you work through. Maybe you do shows or in-person events, and you then want to work through and call those leads. You can have home screens to see, right, where are all these leads up to. So instead of viewing them all as just one long list of people who haven't booked, you're looking at them in terms of knowing more about them. Where are they up to in that journey? Because some of those are going to be warmer than others, some of those are going to be more stale, and so you're going to approach them differently as a result, and that's going to improve the way you nurture them. And I think that comes back to building trust again. It comes back to the more accurate messaging, because you know where they are in the journey.
Yeah, being able to see them where they're in that journey and where they actually end up booking, as that's probably quite valuable. But because I think time is our most valuable asset, and this automation is so key within your business. And it may be daunting thinking, I have to set this up, but the overall time it's going to save you in the future, and how it's going to help you, in so many different ways with nurturing the clients, how you spend your money, how you're nurturing them, where you can improve things, what's working, what's not, because at the end of the day, we don't want to be working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So anything to relieve that is valuable.
I think you make a really, really good point there, Debbie, as well about that investment in time. So I think investing a bit of time at the front end in developing a good nurture sequence and having good overviews of where your leads can be up to, so that you can look after your leads and nurture them really well, means that your follow-up is a lot more effective going forwards. You're spending less time following up with people, and the bookings are more you're selling more, either in terms of more conversions or you're selling at higher values. And that's the thing as well, is thinking about the return on investment of the work that you do. So if if you spend, half a day refining your nurture process, and it's the sort of thing that people can work with you. We have our customers work with us as well to tailor how they can do that stuff in Lightblue. But spending some time refining those nurture sequences, saying, right, that's a day's worth of work, let's say, to get that done. But it's worth investing that now, because I'm then going to, if you book one extra job, at that value, you book one extra wedding, or one extra portrait session that books some nice wall art and stuff, it's paid for itself right there. And that's the thing you've got to think about, is really how little you need to get extra out of this, but how much you will. So and I think in terms of then quick wins, things that you could do with that, just very, very quick things. So it's talking about invest a day in terms of doing that sort of stuff. This stuff does not have to take that much time. Very quick wins. Make sure that you've got templates for responding to your inquiries, so you're not typing those out every single time and writing them out. Even if it's just a starting point, but having templates for responding to stuff so that it's quick for you. So again, you're not spending your whole life doing that. And then including scheduling links within those templates as well to get people booking. Get them booking that meeting, cuts down on the email tennis and that sort of thing. And having automated follow-ups within your inquiry workflows within your CRM. So when someone's got in touch with you, automatically triggering these messages and that journey there as well. That stuff shouldn't take you that long to set up. You're a great asset for being able to help people with doing that sort of stuff, and Lightblue customers, again, and whatever CRM you're using, your customer support team there should be able to help you with that. So that would be the thing to get in place.
Yeah, perfect. Love the quick wins, because that aligns perfectly with sort of the messaging that we've already got, so they can implement it, use it within this when they're setting up those templates. Done. Yeah, perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Debbie.
Ian.
Cheers.